Hello? Great. How's it going, everyone? Are you guys having fun? I hope. Awesome, awesome. Yeah. Just after lunch, I hope you guys are not feeling too sleepy because, I always get that after lunch and I could definitely use a siesta after this talk. But, now you should really stay focused with what I'm going to talk about because my name is Hoon Kim. I am the CTO of Astar Foundation. Now, the CTO nowadays stands for Chief Talk Officer because that's more of what I do nowadays than the teching part. But then again, you kind of have to expect that going on, as the network grows. So today, it's going to be a bit of a different talk. I'm not just going to talk about what we do. I mean, of course, I will have to. But when I'm on stage, I want you guys to actually learn something new, something memorable, because your memory is the only thing that really lasts with you, right? This is today's agenda. I'll be reintroducing what blockchains are, the challenges for innovating within the blockchain space, how we are providing a solution for this, how to get involved, and of course, we're going to conclude. Now, let's get started. When you first hear the word blockchain, what comes up to your mind? Monkey NFTs, paying thousands of dollars for a JPEG online. Bitcoin, of course, I'm pretty sure everyone in their moms and their grandparents have already heard about Bitcoin, and probably some might have lost a couple of their houses with it too. Scams, rug pulls, those are also quite common too. Problem here is, blockchain is much more than this. Crypto is just part of blockchain. Blockchain is a technology, and yet we're using this term as an umbrella term that covers everything, which means everything bad that happens in the space is now contributing to the broader industry. And I feel like this is just a wasted potential. See, in fact, I feel like we should treat blockchains in a different view. We should think of blockchains as like how we see vehicles. There are various types of vehicles. There's a vehicle for transporting goods, vehicle for transporting a human or food, if you're ordering online, transporting family, or maybe to show off and get some chicks off the streets. There are various ways to use vehicles in this world. None of them are the same than the others. And yet, we can all agree that yes, these are all vehicles. It should be similar to how we see blockchains. Not all blockchains are the same. All blockchains, they have different purpose, they have different ideas, different utility. We should respect that instead of treating everything and putting them into the same bucket. Now, this is what Astar try to do. Our ethos is to acknowledge the diversity of blockchains. See, in blockchain, there's no silver bullet to have one that rules all. You can now have a solution that covers everything. No blockchain is going to triumph over the other. Some may be better for other use cases. Some might be not good. But there's always an audience for something. So why don't we let people program the multi-chain universe? Now, before I can explain what our solution is, I first want to step back a little bit. What problem does blockchain solve in general? What is the core value proposition? You see, in the internet, in the modern internet era, there are three core problems. One, business scalability. Two, validating business transactions. And three, digital ownership. These are something that you cannot do with the current traditional internet stack. Now, I'll explain a little bit more. What do I mean by business scalability? So, imagine you have an online service. It's a service that requires a server, and it provides tremendous value to the users. And now you're getting like millions and trillions of users every day. Now you, as the producer who created that product, has to pay for all the server maintenance, you have to pay for all the security, you have to provide so much guarantees, you have to think about the legal implications of your service. What's happening here right now is essentially you're punished for creating something that people want to use. In online business, when you provide a service, you get more clients, and more clients means more infrastructure, and more infrastructure means more resource to actually scale your service. This is a horrible loop, because now what you're doing is, in order to actually provide service to your clients, the more clients there are, more money you have to make, more business models, more ways, sources of income, which means that in order to survive in this online world as a business, you have to either monopolize or you have to go bankrupt. That's the reason why Google and Microsoft they're taking over everything. It's not because they want to. I mean, I'm pretty sure they would love to, yeah, but in reality, they have to. If not, they don't have a business. We are forcing people to monopolize in the current internet. Second part, when it comes to business transaction validation. See, internet enabled B2C in a totally different way that we can never see before. It has an exponential reach we can never see, but when it comes to B2B transactions, you still have to rely on a chain of middlemen and other services. You cannot have a direct transaction. There's no guarantees, there's no proof. Digital ownership, of course, this too. When we say owning something, what does it really mean? Yes, the server says, the website says I own this stuff, but in reality, the data is always owned by whoever is actually owning the data. The only thing that's protecting us from a malicious player to actually change any information is the legal system. But the legal system doesn't really have any consistency when it comes to the global market. So as online business branch out into the global arena, it becomes really challenging for any business to even start and scale. Effectively, we are forcing a situation where corporations have to just spoon feed the customers, because consumers, all they can do is just consume. They don't really have a saying in anything, and corporations, regardless of what they really want to do, they have to be the one who serve everything from start to finish. Now, here, this is how I see it. A lot of people say blockchain removes the middleman. They remove the trust layer. But I think differently, because no, we're gonna still have the trust layer. We're still gonna have middlemen, because that's been there for, I don't know, as long as humanity was here. But instead, blockchain allows us to optimize the middleman, gives us a glimpse at what the next generation of the internet industry looks like. And this is where come to the challenges. So the Astar we understand this value proposition within blockchains. We want to enable the future of online business and innovation and ideas. But if blockchain is so cheap and optimize the middleman, like, why no mass adoption? And we're always talking about mass adoption. Onboard the next billion users, million users, but to whom and for what? We're not trying to onboard them to blockchain or crypto. We're not trying to sell a 5mm drill. We're trying to sell a 5mm hole. And people sort of forget that blockchain is the method. And mass adoption of a method it's just confusing, but also it's misleading. And this is the problem, because we're only thinking about blockchains. Now, we're in the situation where there's no innovation happening anymore. Because yes, there's innovation at the microscopic level, the low level, but at the client side, no, really. Now, if you want to make money in crypto, it's so easy. Just master the master the art of buzzwords, where you add ZK to literally everything, L2, NFTs, MEVs, you name it. Just slap them on your product and get investment. Go to the investor and say like, hey, look at our product. It's amazing here, right? Give us some money. And the investor is going to be like, yeah, shut up and take my money. Because they saw the next 100K, 1,000K products. Now, the products, once they get the investor money, what they do, they get that money, give it as grants for ecosystem projects to realize their vision and say, hey, we're creating network effect here. And then blockchains, we all try to go with the corporate adoptions. We announce corporate partnerships. We claim mass adoption, onboarding new people, get some big names in there, say like, hey, look at this, pay attention to us because these guys are paying attention to us. What are we actually doing? I don't know, but it's ZK, zero knowledge, right? Now, just sit back, wait, and enjoy the money. Of course, this is just a humorous take on it, and in reality, blockchain is a little bit more complicated. And of course, I really love the projects that actually work on these kind of technology, because without them, we wouldn't be here, right? So, now, that's a high-level issue with blockchains. Fundamentally, why does this happen? Why do we have to go through that cycle? Here, I have one hypothesis. It's because of the issues within the smart contract layer. You see, it's really hard to make something in blockchain. We're always looking at the protocol level, and we're always looking at the very high level, which is cryptocurrency essentially, or money, because everyone loves money, and that's the easiest way to bring people in. But if you really want to utilize the technology as what it is, you need to provide great developer experience, a way to branch out, a way to create more stuff. And right now, the way how blockchains are, we have so many different languages to write a smart contract. Every new blockchain, every new paradigm comes in, we have to create a new language from scratch. And to an extent, it's inevitable because if you want to enable new features, you kind of have to do that. But what happens to something that's already there? Why can't we just have a solution that allows us to write in Solidity but still have the full interoperability? And imagine if I'm using AWS, but they don't allow me to communicate with any other servers that's not AWS. That would be ridiculous, and you can't make anything out of this. This is what's limiting developers because it's not intuitive. The developer experience of creating a smart contract, an application that utilizes different tech stacks are hard, and this effectively forces blockchains to be monolithic. And because of this, the next question we always ask is, which blockchain should I build in? I have this great next, the NFT, ZK NFT idea. Where should I deploy this? That's what everyone's going to think about it. And if they don't find something that can deploy on, they could either create their own blockchain, which could most likely will be a fork. And this means that projects, in order for them to bring more ecosystem projects, a lot of the protocols are forced to do something that others are doing and just bring in big names, partnerships, market hype, push, but no substance, no fundamentals. Now this is where we come in. We aim to fix this situation. We aim to open up the gateway to innovation for a product, a platform where more projects can come in, developers can come in and just build instead of thinking about, hey, how am I going to grow? See, first thing, in Astar Network, we have multiple virtual machines in the same network. We have both the full EVM layer and the WebAssembly layer, which allows you to compose smart contracts in different languages, that it's also all interoperable with various protocols with their own account standards. So we believe that all devs have the right to BUIDL. And we want to break that boundaries. So no longer you don't have to think about just EVM or cross-chain native, Polkadot, Cosmos. No, that's not the real point here, is it? We should be thinking about what we should be building, not where. Now we have multiple virtual machines, but are they composable with each other? And yes, absolutely. Within Astar Network, we have our own feature called a cross-virtual machine, which allows you to interoperate any virtual machine, a smart contract within any environment to another smart contract. So if you have a Solidity contract, you deploy on Astar, you have a Rust Inc. contract, deploy on Astar, and they are interoperable as long as they're in the same runtime environment. And of course, this is scalable to any arbitrary amounts of virtual machines. And this is the general architecture, and of course, I'm still proud of making this pretty cool stuff. But the real credit goes to our development team, because they're amazing. And what's also amazing here is the platform that enables this, Polkadot. So Astar is natively compatible with Polkadot network as a parachain, as one of the blockchains that are connected through the interoperability layer that's provided by Polkadot. This means that other blockchains within the Polkadot ecosystem are natively composable through Astar. And because we have both EVM and WASM smart contracts, any contracts from other standards, other account systems, as long as they have the interoperability layer implemented on Astar, they will be compatible. So what can you do? What does this mean? So Polkadot ecosystem is very rich, diverse, slightly underutilized, but tremendous potential, because they have projects that focus on specific value propositions. See, for example, we have Centrifuge, which is a blockchain focused on real-life assets in the digital space. They have real estate, stocks, whatever you want. It's on the blockchain, and you can still use them fully regulated. We have Kilt, another Polkadot ecosystem project. Digital identity. You can show yourself, prove yourself, attest to other identities from an authorized organization, all on the blockchain without having to rely on pesky servers and give you all your information, including your religion, gender, your beliefs, everything to Facebook. Fala, another great project that enables cloud functions on the blockchain. Imagine using blockchains and smart contracts as if you're using AWS, making HTTP requests. Well, that's Fat Contract, which was just released, and it's amazing. We also have Origin Trail, which focuses on knowledge graph and supply chain management systems So you can now have supply chain management and other intercorporate communications on a blockchain. Polymech, which is a relatively new project that focuses on corporate financing for startups that acts as a platform for investors and early stage startups without having to go through the pesky act of talking with human beings, because we're not really a fan of those, right? Now, here, all these great projects with a vision, with an audience, with a use case, they're all composable with each other now. With Astar, we allow these projects, these sovereign blockchains, to be programmable at a Turing-complete level. Now, last but not least, Astar has another feature that facilitates these innovations for so many people: dApp staking. So, in Astar Network, we allow any token holders to stake on a smart contract. And what do you do by staking on a contract? The project team who create that smart contract will earn staking rewards as passive income, meaning that you create something that provide value to the end users, something that end users wants to support. Think of it as like a decentralized, non-custodial Patreon or any service like that, where now you don't have to think about how do I raise money, how can I get an ICO, and how can I think about the token economics. Because that's the thing about any crypto project nowadays, is that the fundamental business model relies on the fact that you sell tokens and the token price goes up. You don't think about the value that you provide to the end users. Here, we remove that component completely by allowing projects to focus on delivering value, and users who want to support their project can stake on them, and projects will earn passive income through that. So their stake or their motivation is to provide something that people want to use and support. Now, a lot of people love what we're doing here, because thanks to that, we have amazing partners with Astar, that's working with Astar Network. We have Toyota, the biggest car company in the world, who has been doing a lot of DAO experiments to scale their company through Astar Network. Sony is doing so many different things and to work with as a close partner with Astar Network. And we're partnering up with cities to help them build the next IT hub and incubate new IT companies and startups to become the next biggest thing, like Shibuya City and Sendai City and Fukuoka, which is also near the place where I used to study. And what's so amazing here is the thing that's going on in the Korean market. I see the news, so many big players coming in interested in this technology. They want to see what they can do, how can they leverage this technology to create something different, stand out, but also, most importantly, provide value for the end users that they could never done before. And now we see Nexon, and see SK, see Netmarble. So excited to see this phenomenon. This is why Astar, as one of the biggest blockchains in Japan, we also want to look into the Korean market as one of the biggest potential when it comes to blockchain technology. So now you heard about what Astar does. How can you get involved in this movement that I like to call? So it depends on who you are. Do you want to be a builder? Do you want to be an ambassador? Or do you just want to join the community and be part of the ride? You can scan this QR code to go to the forum called Space Labs, where we have all the information to get you started in your next big venture, and to create something that will be used by millions in the future. So here's the conclusion. See, blockchain is a technology and a tool. We're not trying to just sell blockchain. We're trying to sell what blockchains are capable of. Server functions, or it could be identity, real-life assets in the digital space. So many things that blockchain technology enables us to do, but we're all just trying to sell the entire market, which is not going to fit everyone. And in fact, the more we do this, the more use case we have, the harder it's going to be. And because of this, we're limiting ourselves to what we can do with this technology. When people say blockchain, they only think about cryptocurrencies, NFTs, the things that they see a lot. And if you ask a lot of big partners, big corporations who are just entering blockchain, what are they doing? I don't know, making an NFT off of their product. And if it's an NFT that's useful, that has actual value to the users, sure, that's amazing. But we are limiting ourselves with what's only visible in the surface. We want to go beyond that. We want people to focus on building. This is where the next point comes in. We want people to innovate, focus on building, focus on being creative and being the leader. We should stop thinking about where to build. Stop going to projects with the most grants. Stop going to projects with the most traction. That's the next hot thing. No, it's about what can I do with this project? What can I build? And what is the the value that I want to provide to the broader market, to the world, and for the future generation? Thank you.